not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. In fact, I'd rather know the truth, even if it means that I'm wrong. And so with that, I'll say I was completely wrong about Trump. The media played me. They played me really good. You see, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I loved Bernie. I had the t-shirts and everything. Because I saw a politician who really cared about the people, and I was going to vote for him until something odd happened. I had no idea why Trump was running for president. I just knew he got in Bernie Sanders' way. He seemed like an egotistical guy who just wanted more power and clout. The news talked about how he played too much golf. I watched SNL a lot, and they constantly made fun of him, showing clips of him kind of appearing to be a madman, and I bought it up. In fact, the mere mention of Trump triggered me pretty bad.
He just described getting radicalized by SNL sketches and called it being played by the media. Both things can be true at once, and that's the part nobody wants to sit with. Replacing one emotional reaction with another emotional reaction and calling it logic, that's not an upgrade, that's a lateral move. He swapped one tribe for another and felt enlightened doing it. The only difference is the channel he was watching.
But then March 2020 happened, and I needed answers because something was off. I needed to know who the good guys were and who the bad guys were, and who I should trust. So I was watching online and every media source I could find, and I finally decided I would watch the White House briefings live and listen to Trump speak live so I could see for myself, was he a good guy or a bad guy? I saw him appear in his news briefings to just kind of keep it straightforward like a businessman, and then I watched the news afterwards, completely spun it out of control. They made it seem like he was saying things that I know he didn't say.
He watched a press briefing, saw calm body language, watched the news spin it differently, and concluded the briefing guy must be secretly great. That's just vibes with extra steps. Media bias is real, documented, worth taking seriously. But they criticized him, therefore he's the good guy, is not the counter-argument you think it is. The bias was real. The conclusion was optional.
It was bizarre to see in real time. I was watching to see who was pushing fear-mongering, and it definitely wasn't coming from him. In fact, he was trying to push positivity, moving forward, and holding a better vision for where we were headed, which I felt was very much leadership-ish of him. I saw him being straightforward, giving us exact plans and what we should do and what we should expect. And then I saw other people pushing projections like 18 months out that made absolutely no sense with no facts behind it. So I saw that one side was playing fear games and Trump wasn't on that side. But the news was heavy on he wasn't a trustworthy person. So I needed answers because this was all chaos and it didn't make any sense. But March 2020, I talked to a friend and he said that Trump was in there for a reason. And that's when everything clicked.
A friend told me he was in there for a reason and everything clicked. Sir, the entire foundation of your worldview shift with Weiss was one conversation, with one person, probably also sleep-deprived and watching too much content online. 2020 broke people's sense of stability, and when you're that destabilized, your brain grabs the first coherent story it finds and holds on for dear life. That's not weakness, that's human neuroscience, but naming it matters.
I felt so much better about what was going on because the worst wasn't happening. It was actually something really good. There was something really big happening, and it was a complete change in our world. But because I watched too much TV, I allowed that fear-mongering to get to me, and I actually did not like Trump for several years until I finally stopped and had to look and see what was really going on and ask some really logical questions. Only then was I able to see the truth, when I was able to take my emotions out of the way. So for those people triggered by the word Trump, I get it. I was triggered too. And I was only able to see the truth when I looked at him logically, without anybody else's voice in my ear. Take another look at him, because you're missing it. You're missing being alive during one of the greatest times in world history, because power is returning to the people in the form of new technology that will shift our world entirely. And Trump is helping us get to the other side. In fact, he says several times, I'm returning power to you. He's going up against some really bad people. And that's why we saw the events of Saturday when they tried to get rid of him. There are a few presidents that go against this level of darkness, and he will go down as the greatest president in American history because of what he's done for us. He never took money when he was a president, and he still wants to be president even after everything that happened. If you don't see the kind of person he is now, one day you will.
Hey everyone, this is absolutely incredible. In some of my other videos, I talk about my Trump supporter neighbor and how she lost her job from the steel company because of the possible Trump tariffs and that they're closing some stuff down.
She lost her job from the exact policies she voted for, and is now accepting food money from the neighbor whose yard signs she stole. And props to the person telling this story for actually helping her anyway, because that's the move that changes minds. Not lectures, not "I told you so." Just quiet dignity when someone's at their lowest. That moment at the end of the driveway. That's where real politics happens.
So, when I got home from work, I looked over and she was near the end of my driveway. She absolutely apologized and admitted that she was the one who stole my Harris signs during the election. She also thanked me for this small donation that I gave her. I gave her some money because I felt so bad because she was hungry. And I also felt bad that she was working in the grocery produce section, peeling the extra skin off the onions, moving the cucumbers around, juggling the lettuce, the tomatoes. So, but she actually admitted that it was wrong to vote for Donald Trump. I cannot believe it. And she's going to take down the Trump signs. It's an absolute miracle.
I think my favorite copium conspiracy about the tariffs is conservatives who are just now realizing, oh shit, this actually is going to crash the economy. Like, they were not lying. Of course, they can't just admit that. They can't just go, we were wrong. Turns out the economists know a little something about the economy. Oh, can't say that. So instead, what they say is, actually, the whole economy was fake this whole time, and it was propped up by government spending. We've basically had a shadow economy this whole time, and all the money that is now gone from the economy, all the trillions of dollars that have been erased from the stock market, all of that was just fake, woke DEI spending, right? That wasn't real money.
The fake economy theory. Genuinely fascinating from a psychology standpoint. Trillions gone from markets, prices up. And the explanation is, it was never real money to begin with. It was DEI spending propping up a shadow economy. Notice what this does. It makes the damage unfalsifiable. Any evidence of harm just becomes more proof of how fake the old system was. That's not a political position. That's a closed loop. And closed loops are extremely hard to reason with.
It is an absolutely fascinating line of thought to say, is it the policy that is perhaps wrong? No, it couldn't be. It's the markets and their entire functional basis that is at fault here. We share a country with people who have a extremely strained relationship with facts and reality.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if Republicans, Democrats, and Independents hate him, hate this administration, if the entire world hates us and we are a laughing stock, except Russia, you are wrong. I know that hurts to hear, but if you are MAGA, and MAGA, by the way, MAGA is not Republican. They're two different things. If you are MAGA, you are wrong. There is no way the rest of the world except Russia and everybody else is wrong. You are wrong.
1 + 1 is 2, not 3, delivered like a disappointed math teacher at the absolute end of her rope. But here's what she's missing. The people she's talking to don't think they're the minority. They genuinely believe they're the rational ones, surrounded by a brainwashed world. Make someone feel like the last awake person in a sleeping crowd, and no external evidence can land. The only thing that actually cracks it? Personal cost.
And I think it's about time that you take a step back and actually look at the fact that you are wrong. Because 1 + 1 is 2. It is not 3. Because you doubling down when MAGA is a tiny percentage of this entire country and especially the world, you doubling down, it makes you look so embarrassing.
I want to make a sincere apology to MAGA. I was thinking you guys were a bunch of selfish assholes who were only concerned with helping yourselves. I mean, you were all America first and our taxes should only be used to help Americans. But here you are. In the last couple months, you've just proved me wrong. You are totally cool with giving money to Argentina to help their beef industry. You're totally cool with giving our money to Venezuela to help with their oil production. That's so nice of you guys to help these other countries when they're in need, and with our money. That's so generous. Was really shitty when you cheered on the cutting of USAID that helped children, and now there's a lot of children who have actually died because that funding was cut. But I'm sure you didn't actually know that was going to happen, and now that you're aware of it and you're all on board for helping other countries, we'll make sure that funding gets right back to the people who deserve it, right? I mean, I'm sure Donald Trump is helping these other countries out of the goodness of his heart because he's such a kind and generous man. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he and his cronies are going to make tons of money off of it with our tax money while the rest of us see none of it, right?
The sarcasm is doing so much heavy lifting here, and I respect every pound of it. The same crowd that screamed about foreign aid being wasteful, now completely unbothered by very specific foreign deals that benefit very specific people. The difference between aid they hated and deals they love isn't the money, it's who gets the credit and who cuts the check. This is what 5 years of being right while being ignored sounds like.
I'm sorry I voted for Donald Trump and supported Donald Trump. I was wrong. I apologize. I should have never done that. I was wrong. I was fooled. I thought he really cared.
Hey man, I think it's great that you're making this video. You're paying attention, you're seeing Trump for who he really is, and it's all coming out. I think it's great. But don't stop here. Stay engaged. Go have conversations. People that you know still support Trump, go have conversations with them. Try to open their eyes. Get involved in your local community. Get involved at the state level. Vote in the midterms. I'm glad that people are finally seeing Trump and his administration for who they really are. I know that it sucks that we still have, 2 years left of this horrific administration, but we'll get there. Keep making videos, get your voice out there, let people know, hey, I was in MAGA. I thought Trump was all of this, but now I am seeing Trump for who he really is, which I'm curious, what was it? Great song choice, by the way. Incubus is awesome. Seen him in concert a few times. Yeah.
This video is for you. We all need a little hope.
Oh, my word. I am a registered Republican. My dad was the president of American Pipeliners Association, so I came by it rather naturally. Voted for the president, supported him, but I really want to apologize. I mean, looking at this awful picture of the Obamas, what an embarrassment to our country. All this man does is tell lies. He is not worthy of the presidency. He takes bribes blatantly, and now he's being a racist blatantly. They were supposed to deport the dangerous criminals. They were not supposed to go after small children, storm schools, bring terror upon, the little kids and the women and children, not just the immigrants in the school. All the children are scared. This is not a decent man. This is not an honest man. He openly takes bribes. He's pathetic as a president, and I just want to apologize to everybody in the country.
A guy whose father ran a national pipeline association, who voted the same way 3 times, is now on camera saying the word rotten. That's a man burning down his own political identity in public, and that takes something. Notice what finally got him. Not policy, not legal cases. It was children being scared. That was the line. Everyone has a line. It's just buried under loyalty and years of sunk cost.
For supporting this rotten man.
John, did you vote for him in all 3 elections?
I did. I was sucked into the stupidity of creating jobs, and there are no more jobs anymore.
We need to talk about this because you have a right to be pissed. You have a right to be upset. You have a right to feel like I told you so, like look at the situation we're in. But we have to figure out ways to, when it starts clicking, how do we allow them to apologize? I know, you guys can go off in the comments, but it's the reality, right? How do we get them to vote differently? How do we get out of this mess? And I was thinking, Think about yourself as an individual. When did you start thinking differently? When did all of those things start to click and unlock and you tie them all together? I used to be conservative when I was young in college. I went to a Mormon school. I thought I was Republican, being Latino. I understand. But certain life events made things click, made me start seeing things through a different lens. And I'm not saying you gotta go be friends and love everybody and kumbaya. But there are a lot of people waking up right now, a lot. And you know, the media is not posting everything that's going on, and a lot of people are seeing this on their phones, on social. So you have a big role in this as well. So the questions I have is, how do we continue to connect the dots? How do we continue to let people know, and then once they know better, that we make space, we figure out how to work together. Again, there's plenty of racist people. I mean, the White House for one, the president. But the ones that are waking up, what's next?
So how are we, the people that voted for Donald Trump, supposed to continue to support him when his name has been mentioned 5,000 times in these files that have been dropped?
We're going to play this video in full. But first, we have to fact check her in real time. Check this out. It wasn't 5,000 times that his name was mentioned. It was 38,000 times across the files, including mentions of Trump, Melania Trump, Mar-a-Lago, and related terms. It's mind-blowing. Did you really have to see the files to know? All the pictures with him and Jeff. All the pictures with him, Jeff, Ghislaine Maxwell, Melania. All those pictures with them together. The videos with them together. That wasn't enough. I guess I'm going to have to do it. I told you so. We told you so. Before I show my audience your video, I want you to know something. You were used. Not only by him, by MAGA. You were used. Let me show you how I know. This is how I know. They never cared about the children. This is what they cared about. And I'm going to read this to you. From App Patriot Girl. I don't know about you, but I voted for retribution and revenge. I voted for Trump to crush the left so badly that they are afraid to show their faces in the light of day. I voted for swift, vicious justice and no mercy. It's a good thing that I'm not God, because hell would be a lot more crowded right now. It was never about the children. No, not about the children. We knew that. We knew that. It was always about revenge. Swift, vicious revenge. They don't care what they do as long as they own the libs. It's a sickness. And you were used by them. Your intentions were pure. Your intentions was to save the children. All the stuff they put in your head about the Dems and what they did to the children, or what they said they did, was bullshit. It's always been on the other side, on the side that you voted for. Now, knowing this, let's watch your video.
So how are we, the people that voted for Donald Trump, supposed to continue to support him when his name has been mentioned 5,000 times in these files that have been dropped? Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked at how people from my party, I'm a conservative, I have conservative values, voted for Trump, etc. How are we making excuses for Trump?
She's asking this calmly, as a conservative, with her values still intact. And that's the most important detail in this entire compilation. She's not abandoning her beliefs. She's separating her beliefs from a person, which is exactly how it's supposed to work. Values aren't loyalty oaths to individuals. When the person betrays the values, you drop the person, not the values. Somewhere along the way, that distinction got erased, and she's drawing it back in.
I'm truly baffled because he wasn't convicted. I mean, how do you get your name mentioned that many times? I think it's time that we hold these people accountable that are doing these disgusting things to children. Irregardless of who you voted for, what you support, we can call something bad that is bad and still be conservative, you know? Just because we criticize a particular person or people, that does not mean that we're like some leftist liberal. You know, they're calling the Epstein files a Democratic hoax. How is this a hoax?
Now, I know my smart followers and smart subscribers, their ears squealed when you said irregardless. It's just regardless. You could fix it. You could fix it by voting blue in November, in the midterms. You could fix your vote. You could save the children by just voting blue in November. I used to be conservative just like you too. I used to be fed the bullshit just like you. Until one day I said, they're lying to us. And then I changed. I went from conservative Republican to independent. And now I am a registered Democrat. All the bullshit that you've heard about the left is a lie. The Republican Party used reverse psychology on you. They used it on you to vote for them. So everything that you actually hate right now is actually the right. Stop being a momo. Open your ears, open your eyes, and do the right thing. Vote blue in November. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. And if you haven't thrown me a follow yet.
So that's what political reckoning actually looks like. Not a debate, not a viral argument, just people sitting with the gap between what they were promised and what actually showed up. None of them were fooled because they were stupid. They were fooled because they were hopeful. And hope aimed at the wrong target is one of the most dangerous things on earth. Tell me in the comments, what does it actually take for someone to change their mind? I genuinely want to know. Like and subscribe, because this conversation is just getting started.